Are you struggling through a career change or are you having to pivot your business because of all the changes happening right now? Everybody's in transition, and I am here with Virginia Nava Heger, who has gone through a major career shift in the last few years to give us some ideas on how to get through that time in your life. So thanks for being here, Virginia.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, so why don't you start out by just telling us your story about how you shifted, because so many people are finding right now that what they thought the mat under them has been pulled away and they're going to have to find a different direction or go, pivot in a different way. So why don't you start out with your story and tell us how you did it?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, I want to say I'm sorry to everyone here who might be experiencing a major career shift at this time. I'm sorry for you and your family, and I'm also grateful for all of you for all your gifts. So I want to start with my career transformation. So basically 6 years ago, I decided to pursue entrepreneurship, and I resigned my job as an international marketing manager at a corporation. And during that time, I was really excited. And for 2 weeks, I was like, I'm like, oh, I can do this career shift, which may be a really different start than you may experience at this time. So I'm aware of that. But during that time, I wasn't ready or prepared to know what I would experience next, which was an identity shift. I didn't know that a lot of my identity had been around my career. And if you think about it, a lot of people work 80 hours a week or 60 hours a week, and then our careers are really shaped our lives are shaped by the careers we choose. So even the way I dressed and who I talk to and the friends I have. So the first part was excitement, and there was also a part of loss and grieving that loss of connection of people, and then also a reframing of what is that I am and what is it that I do.
So when you were going through that and you were so connected to your identity, connected basically to what you did, your position there, your job, the activity you did at work, and you worked everything around that, what did you do to start shifting to be able to think about the importance of yourself just because of who you are?
Well, the first part is I had to become aware. And to me, because my life changed, right, dramatically from traveling around the world and then working 68 hours a week to suddenly I have a whole week to myself. Right, my whole life changed literally in a week. And I have to become aware in that moment that my life was all around my career. And in that moment, I have to realize that I am not my career, that I have gifts and talents inside of me and abilities inside of me, and that I have a choice about how I use those gifts and talents to impact the world. So I'll give you an example, right? After being an international marketing manager, then I have also experienced organizations and for nonprofits, and also a writer of inspiration. So what happened is these gifts and abilities started to be available to me in other forms or other ways they're being used. And before, because I was in a particular career with a particular situation, my gifts were only used in one way.
So you found other ways to use your same gifts. And I know, like on my podcast and stuff, I talk a lot about creativity, being creative.
Yes.
And, you can be creative cooking a meal, or creative, making a spreadsheet. So it's not just art, but it allowed you then to open up and probably use your gifts even more fully than in just one way.
Yeah, so it was actual, so I wasn't expecting that it was going to be a process of self-discovery and transformation. And the first part was letting go. Like, can I let go of that so I can actually be open to the new possibilities and be available to all these new possibilities? And can I be curious and then meet new people and meet new ways in which I can express my gifts? So, so there was this like opening. So for me, the first part is I am not what I do, I'm who I am. And then I express myself through what I do. And then I find where are the best places to express myself and what I do. But the first part is a personal development process, which I did not thought that was the case. To me, I saw it as this is a career shift. I am a marketing manager. Now I'm going to be a marketing consultant, and that's it, right? So there's a real kind of linear shift. But I didn't expect that, oh, Sally, I'm an inspirational writer too. I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Mm-hmm. Right? So now I have this new realization that inside of me, I have all these inner gifts. So inside of me, there is something that I really want to tell you today that is really important. You may feel like there's a lot of change and there's a lot of transition, and you may want to have some security and a stability on something right now. And what I've learned is that your security and stability lies in the essence of who you are. So the essence of who you are and the gifts that are innate to you, that you were born with, that are natural to you, that you did when you were 2 and 5 and 7, all the way now, now have the ability to be expressed into the world. And those, no matter whatever your career is, if you are a corporate person, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a business leader, those are available to you right now, and they're available to you tomorrow, regardless of your circumstances.
Exactly. And you said so many important things. First of all, you started up with curiosity, and I encourage people to get curious about yourself. Get curious about who you are and go explore those gifts, because I know there's things I started doing art maybe about 4 years ago, but when I was a kid I wanted to be an artist, but that wasn't the practical thing to do. So I became a doctor. And you are also talking about being so connected to your profession. It's really hard. I've been cutting down how much I work because I'm doing other things. And it's so hard to let go of taking care of patients, because that's part of my identity and I love doing it. And by the way, I'm still seeing patients in Gainesville, Georgia. If there's people around and need help with their glasses and contacts and stuff, I'm still seeing them this week to help out. But we're also connected to that. But what you said is so true. Whenever we are in transition, that is when we have all the possibilities. That is the best place to be in. It's a scary place to be sometimes, or unsettling, or you don't know what's going to happen. But what I've heard is all the big wins, everything amazing and great is in the unknown. Everything, the things you can't hardly imagine is on the unknown, and we just have to step forward and just moving in a direction. And part of it is to start to explore who you are and all those gifts. And how would you like to have your life now? Right now is the time where many people are going to get to recreate their life, because they're going to want to go back to where they were, and it's not going to be there. And then other people, they're going to have to shift what they're doing. So yes. Important what you're saying about that.
Thank you. And I would like to invite people to ask themselves deeper questions and think that, right now, I think in this time, it's a really good opportunity for us to think, how can I help? How can I be of service? What am I here for? And this is a time where I feel like, to me, it has been like really transformational, because you know, there's a lot of people, like there is some of this social distancing, but then also the awareness that what we do has an impact for each other. And so I want to ask you to think of your career and ask yourself deeper questions like, who am I? Why am I here for? What am I here to contribute to the world? And who am I here to serve? So take this opportunity in your business, in your entrepreneurship, in your corporate shift that maybe is taking you to a new place. Take this opportunity to ask those questions, because if you start from the essence of who you are, then you're going to flourish, because you're going to be doing something that is in alignment with who you are. And if you have been experiencing pain in your career and you have felt that the career you were choosing or the business you were creating wasn't in alignment with you, it's because you haven't gone to the essence of who you are and really ask yourself, why am I here for? So I'll give you an example for me, right? Like, yeah, I've done marketing in different ways, and I done also personal branding or helping people to actually be visible and share who they are, and transformation. And I also written books, right? And I can tell you that there's a difference for me, for example, when I done an advertisement to put a product out versus when I change a life, right? There is this fulfillment difference. I'm using the same skill set. I'm using some extra gifts that I have, but the outcome of helping somebody develop, like, answer those questions and then bring in a plan together to share who they are in the world and help another person, is this ripple effect of that, right? So for you, it might be that you are a leader in an organization and now you have this opportunity to be an extra leader of an organization. For you, it might be that your business can become a global organization and it was local right now. And now you can help people globally. Maybe your business is helping a certain cause and now you have a deeper purpose. So asking the question to me about what is our own inner leadership, and instead of going outside for those answers like we normally do, these 2 weeks or this time that we have every single time, it is an opportunity to go within for those answers and go within, because that's when the power of the heart comes in. So we have the power of the mind of strategizing what we're doing and how we're going to do it. But when we connect and we drop into the power of the heart, that is when we receive the actual calling, because we are here for a purpose to help each other. And one of the things I like people to remind people is that you are a key to another person. Like, your work that you are meant to have here is super important to another person. And when you don't go in and ask those questions and you don't express it, that there's a person that didn't receive it. And that is a huge responsibility.
Yes, it is a huge responsibility. And as you were talking, I was thinking about, you know, people who are in transitions. Sometimes those transitions don't just happen automatically. And I've been reading a book recently. Actually, I've read it in the past, but it's called The Science of Getting Rich. But it has some practical ideas about how to actually receive and how to actually put your gifts out into the world. And it talks about that whatever you're doing right now, regardless of what it is, whatever you're doing right now, do it to the best of your ability. Do it with all your heart, while you still have your eye on where you're going, but you're serving wherever you are. And I'm thinking about, you know, different examples even recently where, someone was sharing with me that she was just having a really hard time, and the guy at the deli department said, "Hey, can I pray with you?" And she said, "Yes." I mean, little things, just little things where you can be helpful, or where you can serve, because the more you serve, the bigger your heart gets, and the more you know who you are, because we learn who we are by giving, by also giving to ourselves. And so I love what you're talking about, just being in our essence. And we are the most happy and fulfilled when we're in our essence too, when we fully use those gifts. And
and I feel that there's this opportunity for us to kind of reflect on our essence. And I know some people have a hard time with that, because some people may have been disconnected from their essence for a long time. So, and some people may be really connected with their essence right now. So I want to help you with an exercise so that you can connect with your essence. So I want you to think of a time when you were a child and you didn't have a job. Like there was no job for you. Like you were a kid, you wake up in the morning and you were present and you were excited to wake up in the morning and you were curious about things. And there were things that you loved to do. And I want you to take yourself back to a memory of that and really reflect on that, and maybe write it down in a piece of paper and show up with that energy. Because when we come back to who we are, then what we do is more magical. So for example, for me, right, I'm able to see the essence of people and be able to connect with that essence. And I can be compassionate and empathetic by nature. And that's just how I was born, right? And there are other people who are really calm, that they can be in any circumstance, and they just have this calming presence about them. There are people that are really inventive and creative. There are people that are really curious, so all those natural abilities are really important. And so I want to invite you to that. And I also want to give you another perspective too. So think of someone like Brené Brown, for example. So I want to give you a practical career example. So let's think of Brené Brown, right? So at essence, her work is vulnerability and shame. Mm-hmm. And the outcome of that is connection, right? So those are the essential qualities of her work. She can do that through research. So there's probably an aspect of her curiosity of human potential to get there. And she can do that through storytelling, and then giving us stories of that experience so that her teacher and her can teach things, right? So she's using these abilities, and then she's putting them on purpose for different people. A professional, a leader. One could be a service professional, like a psychologist, right? And then how she's bringing that to the market is through books, through lessons, through courses, and through a specific consulting methodologies, right? So right there, she has a job in a company, right? And an organization, and she has all these different tools that she can do. So what she did, right, is what I call kind of like the tree, right? She has this essence, then she brings it up, and then she has all these different fruits that she's getting from that. Mm-hmm. So that is the opportunity for us. For us, the opportunity is to come back to the essence of who we are. Then secondly, go into the innate gifts that you have. Third, go to the talents that you have. And 4, go to the skill sets that you need. And then 5, create something with that. So whether it's create a career opportunity to be a leader in an organization, so you can create a resume with that, with a message of what you can bring to an organization. Or you can create a business plan as a leader with a vision of how you're going to help people. Or you can create if you're a transformational leader, you can create a book or a service that you can provide to people. So really, if you think about it, it's a real simple process. But the thing that I want to really, it's a really important thing, is that not everybody can tell you what to do. So the person that knows what you need is you. And like in a practical standpoint, what does that mean to you personally? So I want you to consider there are 3 major elements. So first element is the essence of who you are. Second element are the essentials, which is your innate gifts and talents. And then the third element is your presence, or what I call your present, that is the gift of who you are. So those are the 3 elements that you go into. And then basically, if you were a tree, right, that it would be the seed that you don't see, and then it would be the trunk and the branches and the fruit. A lot of us are really used to start with the fruit. So for example, for a person like in my career, right, I used to be an international marketing manager. So then the next thing is I want to be an international leader, or I want to be an international marketing director, right? So in that, you're really looking at the top to reinvent yourself. But when you go inside to all your abilities and talents, you have way more options of how to reinvent yourself and way more options of how to reinvent your business. So a company, for example, that may be an event company, maybe like we're an event company. Well, maybe their reinvention is they are a connection company and they connect people together to do business together. So if they reframe that the essence of the company is connection and networking, well, how can you do connection and networking in a non-event way, right? Which is not like a particular event in a space, but it could be an event that is online where people can still achieve the same goal of connecting and networking. Say you're an international person, right? And maybe you can't travel right now. Well, maybe you can be still an international leader, but then now you use the power of the web to do global transformation. So basically you are, yes, accessing all your inside and your qualities and the essence of what you're here to do, but then you're giving it more alternatives. Like a tree doesn't just have a branch, right? It has different branches. So you're giving more alternatives to what the form of your career and your business can take. And then that's really fascinating, because then now you are still focused. So you're not all over the place. You're still in one particular aspect, but then you are focused, you have alternatives. So in my case, I'm really focused. That is about essence, is about your gifts. So whether it's your brand essence of your company and how you're communicating that message into the world, or whether it's the essence of who you are as an individual and how you are going to share that message into the world to the people you serve or the career you're choosing, it is the exact same concept with different services. So that way you can be really centered and still really creative. And it gives you a lot of opportunity to know, like, what I really want to hone here is that you have plenty of opportunities available in front of you. And I didn't know that when I was a corporate woman, because that's the only experience I have is as myself as a corporate woman. And the only connections I have were as myself with corporate people. So when I became an entrepreneur, I had to knock out and learn what an entrepreneur is, connect with other entrepreneurs, learn from their stories, learn from their experiences, learn from visionaries who are founding companies, learn how to be a publisher of my own books. So I had to learn all these lessons, but the skill sets and gifts were the same. Like I was using the same abilities to create these new experiences, but I was learning new connections. So for you, I feel that that is important, because when you have a career change, and it's a dramatic career change, or when you have a business change, you might be like in this, like, oh my God, what now? Like, you know, what am I to do? Right. And then you're kind of like frozen into, how am I going to do this business now? Or how am I going to, you know, transition from this career situation? And if you only look on the top of the form that you have, you are stuck into that form has to be exact same form. And if it's not that form, there's no other choice. But that's not true. Like there's more choices, and that's what the self-discovery process happens. And then that's when it gets really exciting. So, and the other thing I want you to tell you too is that there's one, understanding the essence and gifts, and the other one that was the most important, and one of the most important in my career path. It was your why. What is your why? Why are you here? Who are you here to serve? And having that purpose behind it. So the why behind my, you know, discovering your essence and gifts is about self-expression, is about authenticity, is about being who you're meant to be in the world so you can help other people. It is about me being myself and feeling that I can be fully me in my career, and choosing career options that allow me, you know, to be a mom, to take care of my kid, to, you know, to cry at work if I have to, you know, like, so I can be me fully into my career. So there is this opportunity for you to explore your why. And a lot of us don't do that because we're putting, you know, when I first started 6 years ago, we put in this why not. So the why not, like the why not having this, because this will happen, that will happen, that will happen, and that will happen, and that will happen. And we have 100 reasons why not to do something. But I developed this tool, which is called Why Yes. Why yes, helping you right now in your career when this, you know, this is not a convenient time to talk about this. This is not, you know, this is that transition time, right? But why yes? You know, why just do this? Why yes, writing a book with what I learned? Why yes, creating an online course with what I, right? So it's asking why yes, and you're like, why yes is because you can help someone else with what you've learned, that you can help somebody else with your skill sets. So that feeling that you still can be of service to someone else, and that they may need you right now in this moment, and coming from a place of love, and love for yourself, for who you are, and the gifts that you were given, and receiving them. And then secondly, love for humanity, and love for that other person. Like there might be one person out there that needs what you have right now, right? And you're the person that down there, that if you are brave and then you wake up and say, hey, I'm going to help, you know, and whatever it is, it might be that you're developing a nonprofit right now to help everybody out there who is hurting, or it might be that you find a way as a leader to save the jobs of employees of yours, or it might be that you reinvent your whole career and life to be more with your family and children. So your career, it is an integral part of your life. And it's not a box and a compartment when you go in and then you forget who you are and then you come back in. It is a place where it gives you the opportunity to express who you are, and it gives you the opportunity to create a life in which you can help other people, including your own self, like your own self-expression, your own family. And that is the great opportunity that is available. And I understand that maybe for some people in transition, they might need to do jobs or things to support you financially. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, even in non financial difficulty do. They already go and do other jobs and things to support themselves. And then simultaneously, they work on their purpose and what they're here to do. So you don't have to find a formula of how to do it, and feel like constrained about it, or even feel guilty if you're doing something or another. Sometimes in transition, you also need flexibility, and it's okay to do that.
Yeah, and I'm going to share some of my story here.
Yes.
I'm a behavioral optometrist, which means we have therapy centers where people are doing vision brain exercises to enhance their skills. So people come in, they have certain goals or things they want to be able to do better at school, at work, you know, in their hobbies, and they just want to enhance their abilities and what their skills and what they can do by enhancing their brain and vision skills. So I did that for many years, and for many years it was a miraculous thing because it changed people's lives exponentially. If I worked with a child who is not doing well reading, and all of a sudden they're reading and their grades are going up and up and up, and they go into college, that's a win. You know, if I work with an adult who, when he stands up in front of a people in a meeting, he can't really concentrate and read, I can help him to concentrate. So there were so many things I was doing to help people enhance their lives that just made it exponentially wonderful. But after doing this for over 25 years, I said, you know, I've been helping people kind of one-on-one. I mean, I had therapists and things, but helping people one-on-one. And I'm getting older and I want to do more. I want to contribute more. And I don't want to die with all this information and experience and all these abilities inside me. It's not enough to just share things locally. And so several years ago, I said, you know what, my kids are getting older. I think I am going to do something to expand myself so I can teach a lot of people. And so I started by writing a book, Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life. What do? I help people find out what their passion is so they can do just what you've been talking about. Expand into their essence and really be doing what they want to do while they're serving the world. And, you know, and then I started this podcast, and for the same reason. And in April 27th, I'm actually going to have a course where people live. It's called Live Your Passion Intensive.
I love that.
So, you know, it's right in line with what you're talking about. And, you know, what I'm telling people is have the courage to step out, because it's so exciting when you do. I wake up every morning excited to do what I do, and I still see patients, just regular eye exam patients, and I, you know, I do lots of things, but I'm in my essence. And yesterday I was actually seeing patients, and it was really hard to stay centered because people were talking about what's going on. And I thought to myself, you know what? We're just all love. We're love. How can I be love in the world? And one thing I picked up a few years ago is art. And that was one of the things I loved doing, but I never did because I was doing my responsibility. And so last night I said, well, how can I express myself? And it was already late. So what did I do? I had this thing from the dollar store, that's love backwards. And all I did is I took this, I don't know if you could see it. I took this, can you see it? I took and I just painted this. And as I was thinking, I was centering myself because I was doing something that I love to do. I love to paint. If I love a paintbrush in my hand, I'll paint a wagon. I don't care. But it's what I love to do. And, you know, when I share my art, then I'm serving people because they see the beauty or they see the meaning. Most of my things have some meaning. And so even in this time when it's really difficult, just keep bringing yourself back to who you are. You're not your job. You're not your career. Even though you're maybe a mom or a dad or a brother or a sister, you are you. Those are just roles you play. You are you. And so I just want to encourage people. And then, you know, Virginia, she works with people to help them really dig deep and find their essence. And that's so exciting. And I just want people to just have the tools and feel like they can, you know, center themselves, find what really, really gives them fireworks. You know,
I love
really
it.
can do that. I mean, I hear people saying, you know, I wish I didn't have to go to work. I wish I didn't have to do this. But all of a sudden now you don't have to go to work, and you're thinking, well, this is an exciting time. Find what you want to do now.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, it was, you know, what I've experienced was the difference between, you know, getting really excited that I achieved something to actually crying in my car for half an hour or like an hour because of somebody's greatness, of somebody like making a difference to thousands of people, you know, like a woman that does TED Talks and she has amazing books, and another woman that is creating an amazing leadership program. Like people that are doing incredible things with their life, and me being humbled to the experience to be of service to them, you know. So I agree with you. For me too, it's like I started, you know, one-on-one helping all these people, and then really being impacted by all the things that they could do with their lives, including startups, including books, including transformation organizations. Like, you know, there was so many opportunities, and then I was like, hey, I want to help more people, right? And then I started creating this online program too, and I was, you know, really I was really inspired to write my story. So to write my story in my 2 books, and then after that to create a process of transformation so that people could go through it online. Mm-hmm. So I created a university for gifts that is called Your Gift Journey. And now people can go into a 12-week process to go and understand those inner gifts. Mm-hmm. Because when you claim your inner leadership, then you have more alternatives to what you can do in life. And I didn't have those tools 6 years ago. I have more of a career perspective, and it was really hard process to go through and reinvent my life in the way I really wanted it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know, I don't want to just, you know, be in my car crying of excitement after I help one person. Mm-hmm. I know I cannot replicate myself, like, you know, in 20 at the same time in 101. So I want to do this online course. So so now you have access to my online course, and also I want to make available to everybody that took their time to be with us today to have access to my book called Your Unique Gift. Because regardless if you have a career, you're a mom, or you're a leader, or you are I don't know, a corporate person, entrepreneur, you are a gift regardless of the role you play. And I really want you to understand that, because if you get that at the deep level, not a here, but in here, then your life will shift. And I remember, you know, one time launching the book, and then a woman said, hey, you gave me a new perspective about my life. And if I can just give that to you right now, it's the perspective that you are a gift. If that's the only thing that we achieve right now, then that's major, right? Mm-hmm. So the book is going to be free of access to you. It is a whole gift. Like, there's nothing that you have to do to get it. It's a free gift that you just click on the thing, and then the book will be there for you. And you'll be able to, on your own, take some journaling and then write down and answer those questions to each of those. And then you'll be able to start, you know, thinking differently about the impact that your life has in the world to everybody around you. So even if right now your career shift is that you might be a mom for a while, then that is a career in its own way. Motherhood is being a leader of someone who is a future of our generation, and it's a really important career. So to me, I see motherhood as a career. Maybe other people won't, but I personally see it like that. It's a really important thing. So I will ask you to, I'll send you a link so that you guys can access it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yes. And then you want to just tell them what your website is, or, you know, so they know where to find you?
Yes. So for finding more information about how to explore your gift, it's called www.yourgiftjourney.com. And if you find that you need to follow me for inspiration, you can find me at virginianava.com, and that's where I write all my poems and inspiration. And if you feel that you are actually company that is actually creating an essence, a strategy for the organization, then I also have a strategy website specifically for that. That is thetransformativepower.com. Most of what we covered today was regarding more about personal transformation. So you will find it in the first two websites. But it's possible that you're also a leader of an organization in need of a real essential strategy. So you can find that there.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And for more inspiration, you can also listen to the podcast, Incredible Life Creator, and this will be on that podcast. But we're also putting it on Facebook to try and get to as many people as possible. So
thank you so much for having me. It was a really important opportunity to be of service. So I want to thank you for listening. And I want to really hope that your life and your family and loved ones are blessed and safe, and that, you know, we are here together to contribute our gifts to each other. Thank you for who you are. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much for all your gifts and what you're sharing. It's amazing. So thank you. And
thank
yes,
you.
I'm sending love, and I'm sending blessings to everyone, and just with so much gratitude for letting you, for being able to share this today. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you.